What's going on, trappers? Welcome back to J-Will Trap TV. If you're like K9 and you're betting on this channel, make sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe, and put a notification bell so you know when I go live or make a new video. I wouldn't want you to get dropped over a like. Let's go. Yo, what is going on? Welcome back to J-Will Trap TV. Guys, we are back with that BMF Season 2, Episode 10 Season Finale. Season finale time. It's season finale time, guys. We got to get it right into this. This episode is called New Beginnings. Let's go. So we start with our normal title card, and this title card says, "Let no man separate what we created." We talking about Lamar right here? Let me know. Because, you know, Lamar got to go after last episode. So our first scene is a set of flashbacks of Terry, Meech, and B-Mickie running as kids, either from the police, other gang members, and eventually chasing gang members and shooting at them. So we're seeing some growth of how these guys have run with each other throughout their whole lives. We now switch to the car wash, and guess what? The car wash is a crime scene. Bryant walks up, because remember, this car wash is not connected to Meech, and he asks them why they're here, and Meech says that he cares about his community. Bryant welcomes them into the crime scene, and Meech is able to see that Mo has been killed by Lamar. Meech says that he doesn't know Mo, but you can tell he's very shook. He talks to Terry about how Mo wanted to help him get at Lamar, and Terry said they need a new stash spot as the car wash is unusable as it is now a crime scene. Meech says that he is personally gonna kill Lamar. That's what I like to hear. Season finale time, baby. We go to Wolf Records and we see the BMF crew debating about a new stash spot. Meech has an assignment for Roland to go to California. B-Mickie asks Meech if he wants him to follow Roland to California, but Meech tells him no. When B-Mickie leaves, Sterling comes up to Meech and asks him if it's a good idea to keep the rat B-Mickie around. Meech tells Sterling to never question him about his business. At this point, we see that Terry gets a call from Markeisha. We go to Markeisha's house, and it turns out that someone broke in, stormed the house, tied up her and the kids looking for money. Terry levels with the kids, and he lets them know that he's gonna take care of them and protect them, and that he loves Markeisha. He says that he's gonna buy them all a house and move them to a safer environment. Markeisha says that she loves Terry too. Now, I'm over here looking like, Terry, you need to go get a house for Wanda first. Those are your real kids, man. You need to focus on your real kids and then maybe get Markeisha a house. So now we switch to Nikki and Lucille at the Flannery house. Nikki says that she wants to participate in the hair wars and be a model. Lucille says that she supports Nikki in this endeavor and that she wants to attend. Charles walks into the room and Lucille, she's still getting dressed. And she says that she isn't fully dressed and for him to turn around. So she don't even want him to see her when she's getting dressed anymore. She is done. Charles obeys this order and he turns around and he says that he's sorry and he wants to make it up to Lucille. Lucille says she doesn't see how that can happen. Charles tries to hit her with the Corinthians, but Lucille still not feeling it. She says, hey, there's no coming back from this. So we go to the precinct and the DEA is giving Bryant a shot at interrogating K9. Jen walks up and she's upset that Brian didn't come get her, so Brian's still keeping her at a little bit of a distance. She invites herself into the interrogation and listens in. Brian is grilling K9 and he says that he has multiple witnesses that saw him engage in a shooting of Winky Johnson outside of Celia's gym. They're telling him that they want him to snitch on his local dealers or he's gonna get big time. K9 is holding tight and he's saying he ain't gonna snitch on nobody. But then Bryant brings in Peaches. Man, we haven't seen Peaches in a little bit. It turns out Peaches has snitched about bodies and weapons, leading detectives to the location of multiple murders by K9. K9 is pissed. K9, you should have took care of this girl, man. The cops say they have many people cooperating against K9. At this point, K9 is willing to give up some names, including Cena, the Colombian Connect. Brian doesn't care about all these small potatoes. He wants Terry and Meech, but K9 smiles and we end the scene. So we got K9 snitching. He hasn't snitched on Terry and Meech, but he is snitching. This is not the way I thought K9 was gonna roll. You guys know K9 is like my favorite character. Well, not my favorite character, but he's like my new favorite character from season 2. We go to Meech and Terry in the Flannery house, and Meech says that he spoke to Zoe and that he knows it was Lamar who murdered Mo. Charles comes in and he says they're having a family dinner and that he wants them all to be there. I'm looking at Charles like, hey, you didn't want Meech to be at those family dinners earlier. Now you're trying to have Meech come in and save your relationship. We go to Lamar, and he's at Al's house. He's having some flashbacks about good times with Zoe, Mo, and Blackie. Al turns on the lights to check on Lamar, and Lamar is sitting over here like, Al tells Lamar that he shouldn't be doing all this cocaine, and Lamar gets up and pushes him against the wall and throws him on the floor. Lamar, you gotta stop treating, your benefactor like this, man. It's not gonna go well for you. He throws Al on the ground and we end the scene. We go back to the Flannery house and Nikki is excited about the hair wars. She tells Terry and Meech that she got tickets for him, Terry, and Wanda. Terry's like, hey, you do not need to bring Wanda. Lucille comes down, she looking cute, and Charles tries to compliment her. Lucille ignores Charles. We're now at the dinner table and Meech leads a prayer. Meech says he can't remember the last time they had a family dinner. And Lucille says that she does, but Meech was not invited. Instead, Mabel was here. She asks Charles how long he was having that affair with Mabel, and Charles doesn't really give an answer. And she says that fish rot from the head down. Charles says that she made her point and he gets up and leaves. That nigga didn't even eat. He was one wanting everybody to come to dinner. He probably cooked all the food and didn't even get to eat. Lucille speaks with Meech and asks him what's on his mind, and Meech tells her about Mo. Lucille asks about what's gonna happen to Zoe and Tiara, his daughters. Meech says that Mo's mom is gonna take them in and that he's gonna take care of them for life. Terry comes in and he tells Meech that K9 and his crew got popped, and it sounds like K9 might be snitching. So now we switch to Goldie's club down in ATL. Turns out we got Big Mike from earlier in the season. Remember that gambling ring that guy was running when Terry and Meech hustled that dude? This guy's here and he's upset. He's not paying any of the dancers and Goldie confronts him. Turns out Mike is still pissed about Meech and Terry swindling him, and he wants their names and locations. Goldie says that she isn't giving up any info on Meech, and then she kicks him out of the club. We switch back to Meech and Terry meeting up out in public. Terry says that he has gotten a new place to clean their money. Meech says that he locked down a new spot with Nikki's boss, Selena, where they can pack the cars with drugs. So it looks like we're back online as far as the drug game goes. Terry says despite people snitching, he says that he's not skipping town again, that he has a lot of good things going on, and he's gonna hold still. We now switch to Kevin and his friend Gordon at the park. They're walking through the park, and the bully Marcus comes up to Kevin and he confronts him. Kevin tells him that he knows that he broke into his house, and he tries to fight Marcus, but Marcus gets the upper hand, knocks him down, and takes his drawings and rips them up. We now switch scenes and we're going to the hair wars. We get a monologue from older Terry telling us that even though Detroit is the car capital of the world, it is also the black hair capital of the world. Maybe I need to go get a retwist out in Detroit. Meech, Terry, and B-Mickie are in attendance along with Markeisha. Meech doesn't want to stand next to Terry and Markeisha. He still don't trust her. I wonder if that's gonna change. Nikki is modeling at the hair wars, and dang, she looking good. I love that short hair. I love that little hairdress she got going on. Dang, you doing your thing, Nikki. Biden would be proud. So now I think this is probably one of the best parts of the episode. Terry comes up with Markeisha to his family. So, you know, Lucille and Charles are here now, and he comes up with Markeisha and he tries to introduce Lucille to Markeisha. He says this is his new girl. And it turns out Lucille is not really interested in meeting Markeisha. She asks Markeisha why she is trying to be with Terry when he has a baby on the way, and she lets her know that she's just not interested in their relationship. And then Wanda walks up. Wanda and Markeisha start taking shots at each other, and Markeisha feels disrespected and gets mad at Terry and the rest of the family and decides to leave. Terry follows her and they start to leave the club, but then next thing you know, Terry is confronted by DC Young Fly, who is playing a guy named Saint. Now, he showed up in the first season very briefly. He tells Terry to stay away from Boom's bitch. Markeisha gets upset and says, why you calling me a bitch? Terry brushes off Saint's threats and him and Markeisha leave the club. So we go back to Lamar and he's at Al's house. He's still doing drugs and he seems to be like talking to himself, hallucinating. He sees an aspiration of himself, you know, looking at him, and he starts, you know, asking who it is, and he starts swinging on him, but he can't hit the apparition. The fake Lamar gives real Lamar another crack rock and sits him down and has him smoke it. It turns out the person really sitting there is Al. So did he take a shot at Al and Al ducked him? Did that happen? Is Al trying to kill Lamar? What's going on? I told y'all you can't be treating Al like that, man. He's eventually gonna wise up. So we go to Bryant, and Bryant says that K9 is snitching on anyone he wants him to, except for Meech and Terry. So K9 hold it down for Meech and Terry. Still a snitch, but hold him down for Meech and Terry. Bryant gets a call from Meech, and he says that he wants to meet up. Bryant hangs up the phone, and he tells Jen that he's going alone. Jen pissed. She wants to know what's going on. We switch to Bryant's meeting with Meech, and it turns out Meech has brought a witness, Leander. This guy is the guy who's seen Bryant forcing J-Mo from the first season into his car. So Meech is saying he's gonna use this guy to poke some holes in the theory that B-Mickie killed J-Mo by saying that Bryant was the last person to see him alive and that he did not report this info. He tells Bryant that he needs to give B-Mickie his gun back immediately. Meech has Bryant by the balls, and I'm wondering why it took so long for us to go get these balls, because if we had this dude Leander in the wind waiting to, you know, show up and snitch, then what were we doing the whole season? We go back to Lucille and Charles. Charles comes in and he says that he found a preacher, one that he can trust, that's probably not Pastor Swift, and that this preacher can help them with the path forward. Lucille says she found something too, something called a divorce attorney. She says that they both haven't been happy for a long time, and maybe it's time for a second chance for both of them. Charles says maybe it's good that he got caught because now there are no more secrets between them. Lucille says that she wants to take a second chance separately. Dang, Lucille, dang, you know, she hurt. Y'all gotta understand, you know, some people forgive, some people forget, but some people, they don't let it go. We go back to Bryant. He's going home to get the gun, and he's going to the safe to grab the gun, but the gun is not in the safe. He checks his other safe, the gun ain't there. He's looking around, tearing up the closet, can't find anything. Next thing you know, Jen comes in, and Bryant's like, yo, are you here snooping on my house again? And she's like, no, I thought that you would be going to the call. It turns out there was a call about Kevin that Bryant is unaware about. We go to the park, and it turns out that Kevin went and got the strap, and he took Marcus out. Marcus dead on the basketball court. So turns out he blasted him with B-Mickie's strap. Now this is not gonna be good. So this is an interesting development. Considering there are already 2 bodies on that gun. How is Bryant gonna get out of this one? Bryant tells Kevin that this was self-defense. Jen starts to handcuff Kevin. Kevin's wondering why he's getting arrested. But Bryant's like, you gotta get arrested, man, you killed somebody. Kevin is saying that he don't wanna go to jail, and I'm over here looking at Bryant like, this is all your fault, partner. We now switch to Terry at Wolf Records, and the BMF crew, they're all reading the paper. They're saying that those 3 murders are all getting pinned on Kevin. So Kato, J-Mo, and now Marcus, with that gun, are all going on Kevin. So this is an interesting turn of events. It looks like B-Mickie is home free. Everyone's all excited about this news except Meech. Terry comes up to Meech and he tells him that he has to let Lamar go, that they're businessmen and they're not killers. Meech says that he has to get Lamar for everything he's done, for killing multiple BMF members, for going after Lucille, for killing Mo. Lamar has to go. We switch to Bryant and he's meeting with Major Gar. Gar is not happy. He is not happy about the chain of custody with the pistol that Bryant took from B-Mickie. It turns out they still have the prints on B-Mickie's gun, so they can probably tie those murders to B-Mickie, but they need a confession from B-Mickie. Jen steps in and she says that she wants to help get the confession. Gar allows Jen to do this, but he tells Bryant that he needs to go home and not talk to anyone. Bryant and Jen walk out and he tries to thank Jen, but Jen says fuck him and she's only doing this for Kevin. No more kitty cat for you, Bryant. We go to B-Mick, he's smoking in his house, and Jen knocks the door. She comes in and she says that B-Mickie will do big time unless he confesses about the murders of Kato and J-Mo. She says that if he confesses, she can get him less time and then get him into witness protection so he will be safe. B-Mickie says to get the hell out of here and that he will be in cuffs if they had anything on him. He then closes the door. Jen leaves, and as Jen leaves, we got Sterling, your boy Sterling, watching the house, and you can tell he ain't happy. Lamar wakes up, he looks at Meech and he says, go ahead, pull the trigger, he's gonna send his regards to Mo. Dang, bro, how you gonna say that about Mo? That's a woman y'all both loved. Meech says that he doesn't want to kill Lamar, that instead he wants to torture him and see him suffer. He pulls out some more crack, and I'm not sure if this is the poison crack or just normal crack, but he makes Lamar smoke it at gunpoint. Al walks up and it looks like Al was the one who led Meech here. See, I told y'all, he was being mean to Al, breaking his TVs and shit, talking about him boning those dead bodies, and he got mad and went and got Meech. Meech pays Al, and he tells Al to keep feeding him the crack. We look at Lamar, and it looks like he's about to turn into a druggie. Meech wants to keep Lamar drugged up in perpetuity instead of killing him. I'm over here like, fuck that. I need violence, bro. I didn't like this. This is not a satisfying conclusion. I needed to at least see Meech and Lamar, throw hands or get into a shootout or kill Lamar. Come on. I know we're trying to stick to the real life facts of this story because, the guy who represents Lamar became like a crackhead, So now we go to Wolf Records and Terry comes in. Meech says that he handled Lamar Terry's way. He says that he did not kill him. He also tells Terry that he wants him to respect how he handles B-Mickie. He tells Terry that he's gonna go down south and run ATL, or that he wants Terry to stay here and run the D. Meech says that he's gonna throw himself the biggest going away party anyone's ever seen. So now we switch to the going away party. Episode is moving along pretty quickly, by the way. The whole hood is here at this going away party for Meech, and Charles, he's on the grill making Polishes. Terry tells Charles that no matter what happens, he wants his father to be in his life and his children's life. Terry tells Charles no matter what happens between him and Lucille, that he wants Charles to be in his life and his children's life. Meech comes up to Charles and he gives him a new guitar. Charles says that he loves Meech. I'm glad these two are getting closer together again. Next thing you know, we see Lucille. She comes out in an orange bodysuit and she looking pretty good. Charles definitely notices, and then Lucille comes up and asks to dance with Terry. Charles looking at it like, dang, why you didn't put that thing on me? B-Mickie shows up and it turns out that he was not invited to the party. Meech tells B-Mickie that he is no longer a part of the family and that he doesn't ever want to see him again. He doesn't want Meech's name in B-Mickie's mouth. He is done. He needs to go. He said the only reason he didn't kill him is because he loves him. And he lets know that Sterling saw him rapping with Jen, and that was the nail in the coffin. B-Mickie walks away. He looks sad. Looks like he lost everything. Lost his mom, now he lost the BMF family.
He gonna cry in the car.
Terry comes up and he says, fuck B-Mickie. We finished the party with a big tribute to Meech. Everybody's happy and it looks like Meech is really going. We switch to Bryant visiting Kevin in jail. Kevin thinks that Bryant's about to get him out, but Bryant says he can't yet and he brings some of his drawings and comic books. Bryant tells Kevin he's been reading the comics and that one of the heroes has a likeness to him. Kevin starts talking about all these details and telling Bryant that he is his hero. They continue talking and then we switch scenes. We go to Meech and Terry and it looks like Meech is in his car in front of his house. He's saying his last goodbyes and he asks Roland to continue looking out after Lucille. I'm over here thinking like, yeah, that worked out perfectly last time when Lamar showed up and almost killed Lucille and Lucille had to pray with him. Meech tells Terry that the D is his kingdom now. And then Meech gets in the car and he drives off into the sunset. We switch scenes and we go to Terry. He's driving with Markeisha and we get a monologue from him. He's talking about them going their separate ways, about how Meech is gonna go to ATL and become the legend that he is, and how he's gonna stay in Detroit and kind of stay in his own lane, but be, you know, a smaller legend in my opinion. Meech shows up at Goldie's club and she says that he was supposed to arrive yesterday. Before they can really get into business, Big Mike shows up, kills the security guard in the front door, and he comes in with a shotgun looking for Meech, and he comes in with a shotgun looking for Goldie. Meech hides behind the table, pulls out his pistol, and takes some shot at Big Mike. He hits him right in the gut. Big Mike isn't going down, and he starts busting that shotgun. Next thing you know, we see Goldie come up from behind the bar with the snub nose. She takes some shots, and she kills Big Mike. At this point, Goldie tells Meech that a guy named Robert Fulton is gonna be looking for Mike, and that Mike was his highest earner, and that if he finds out that Meech is helping Goldie, that he's gonna skin him alive. She says that she has to get out of town. We go to Goldie's house and she's talking to her sister Sandra, who's hooked up to all the medical equipment. Goldie tells her that they have to go, that they have to skip town. Sandra says that she will just slow Goldie down and that it's better for her just to kind of pull the plug. She says that she's ready to die and to turn the machines off. Goldie doesn't want to be alone. She doesn't want to pull the plug. We see Meech come in and he's a witness and he holds her hand as Goldie pulls the plug. So Sandra dies. In the next scene, we see that Goldie is sending Meech to Magic City, the same club in Magic City that he got attacked at last time. She tells Meech that if Robert Fulton figures out that he's helping, as I said before, that he will seek revenge against Meech. Meech goes into the club and he sees Deela again, and he asks for someone named Rodney Green. Deela lets Meech know that Rodney's in the back, and Meech proceeds to the back. At this point, Remy Ransom, who took shots at Meech in the previous episodes at the club, sees Meech, and it looks like he's making a plan to make another attack. We hear monologue Terry tell us that the past can hamper your future, and we switch to Terry and Markeisha riding in the car. Terry is telling Markeisha that he's now the king of Detroit, and he actually looks to his left and he sees Lamar walking down the street, looking pretty cracked out and lost. At first it looks like, you know, he wants to do something, but then he realizes this guy is gone on his own. Lamar is no longer a threat. Markeisha says that she wants to go house hunting tomorrow, and next thing you know, Terry pulls up to a stopped car that isn't moving, and then a van pulls up alongside him, door opens up, and it is DC Young Fly as Saint, and he has a pistol. Markeisha screams, "Saint, no!" And then he just starts unloading. So we don't see if anyone gets hit. Terry turns to protect Markeisha, but somebody gotta get hit. So I'm wondering what happened, bro. What's going on? And right here, the episode ends. So that's the season finale, y'all. That was the finale. Now, let me give you guys my thoughts. I was not impressed with this finale. It definitely had good movement, but it felt very disjointed. The Lamar ending was not satisfying. I love that, you know, we're going to ATL now, and we're still following the real true story of the BMF family, how, you know, he expands to ATL to, you know, create that whole nationwide network. But just the way the dice fell in this episode, the Kevin stuff wasn't handled well. There's too many things going on off screen. We never seen Kevin get the gun. We did see that Kevin knew where the gun was, but we never seen him get the gun. We never got to see what K9 was saying to Bryant. We didn't even get to see Boom when he snitched either. There's just a lot of things happening off screen, right? All of a sudden we got Saint pull up. He's probably gonna be Terry's op in the next season. But the fact that Boom never confronted Terry about Markeisha, he never found out about that situation, I think that's not good writing. I like where we're going with Lucille and Charles. I think that's gonna be a good dynamic to explore next season. It looks like Lucille's kind of going her separate ways. I wonder where Charles is gonna end up. Maybe he might end up working with Meech and ATL. They seem to be getting closer. But come on, guys, we got a finale. We have no deaths from any major characters. We got Marcus, but come on, that's a little fish. You know, like no major deaths at all. No major deaths. We didn't even get a fight. Like, why no fist fight between the Beast and Meech? I was looking for a real confrontation between those two. And what we got sucked. It did. I'm sorry. So, you know, hey guys, keep rocking with your boy. What's coming next for the channel? We're about to jump back into Power. Jumping right back into Power. I gotta go record that video right after this one. So I might, it might be Monday, might be Sunday. I'm trying to get it out by Sunday, okay? So thank you for rocking with your boy. Make sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe, put a notification bell so you know when I go live or make a new video. All right, guys, peace.